So for this module 2, okay, we are on the applications of Gen AI in teaching and learning. And the objective, okay, what we'll try to learn together a bit is to develop some, maybe of your choice, course materials, okay, which include course objective discussion, prompts, questions, quizzes, rubrics, and very many types of activities that you may design for your course in a university using some of the AI suggestions, recommendations, activities, and so on, okay? And of course, we may discuss or share a little bit that after you try, what would be possible way for you to really apply them at your university and so on. And of course, we need to be sure that we are not going to overuse and then we forget the ethical concerns and very many things, okay? All right. But before we jump into using the tools, I'm not really the tool guys that, whenever we always have new tools, we really need to use them. I use them because I think they are beneficial. They promote further productivity, output, or they can help students to learn better and to develop further in their career and profession later on. But just to use because they will get good grades, this should not be the way, right? So I bring this here because I want to share with you that I'm not sure have you seen this. This is from the World Economic Forum, Futures of Jobs report. So it's not from me, okay? And what does it say here? It's a quadrant, okay, that show or analyze how employers think or expect in terms of skills for their employees that should exhibit. What are the needed, required skills that employers think they are important, okay? And from this quadrant, these are the percentage, how many of them think they are very important, from 10, 20, 30, 40, until 100, by the year 2030, the next 5 years, okay, not too far. And by the horizontal quadrant, it's about now, 2025, okay? So 2025, what are necessary in terms of employers' view? Okay, if this picture is not clear enough, you can go to the link. Is the or search in the web. It's World Economic Forum. Okay, and it's free to access. Okay, what is it? So important quadrant that we should spot, right? Will be this top one, top left. Core skills in 2030. What are expected to be there by employers' view? AI and big data. Not using generative AI, of course, but skill, data skill, right? Data analytics skill. But of course, using generative AI to assist you, augment you to, or I mean not you, but our students in the future that we will be produce them. Creative thinking. Technological literacy, resilience, flexibility, agility, analytical thinking, leadership, social influence, curiosity and lifelong learning, and so on. So these are kind of the core skills in 2030 that perhaps would be good that we promote for our future talents. I think many of us here are from universities and research institutes, right? So we are developing our talents for the futures, okay? So these are skills we need to develop further. Some of the emerging skills that is now seem to be less essential now, but expected to increase in the future. include, if you want to argue, not to me, right? Okay, to World Economic Forums, networks and security, environmental stewardship, but it will be increasing. Design and user experience. Okay, anyway. Yeah, just this slide is very fresh from the oven this morning. But yes, I will share back the update version to all of us. But we can see that out of the focus skill, you can see in this quadrant that I am highlighting here, left, yeah, low left quadrant, it said out of focus skill. That means perhaps in the future, maybe they are less important. Okay, I'm sorry. But there are something like, I mean, not less important, but less concerned. Maybe everyone will have it anyway, like programming. I don't need to teach them, I mean, our students programming anymore, right? There'll be code that can do all these things, the basic ones for us. Okay, programming may not be there. Marketing and media is not there that much here. What else? Teaching and mentoring. Oh, I will argue. Facilitating. I think there are many different roles. Reading, writing, mathematics, and so on. Anyway. Steady skills. Okay, core now, but not expected to increase in use. Service-oriented customer services, and so on. There are not so many skills in this quadrant anyway. So the reason I put this all on is just to say that why this is the thing. Of course, future of jobs, because of the technology, the trend, the advancement, and very many things. So we need to be able to align with the trends of the future as well, right? We are developing our human resources for our countries, our region, and so on. Okay. And this also is the one I took from a pretty recent, not that much, 2022, okay. Advantages of AI and teacher roles in AI research. So what does it mean? These are the teachers. These are their roles. These are how AI could perhaps assist and support. Okay, so we need to know that actually there are certain and a lot of manual works. There are also some of the work that can be automated. There are work that can be done in a faster way, and so on. So what can AI do for us in terms of roles of teachers that can help us, assist us? Include, in terms of planning, yes, using student background and plan course, plan lessons, and so on, right? Identifying the needs of the students, planning course activities, and so on. AI can use to support us in this manner. Implementation, yes. Use AI during the course delivery to monitor student performance, learning performance, for a feedback return to the students, learning feedback, intervention to the students, right? I mean, when you notice that some students lag behind, some students need help, that is the intervention we need to give, okay? Giving student intervention, learning intervention. Some automatic reminder to the students, that would be necessary as well, okay? Selecting the personalized learning. Students learn differently. For these students, maybe we suggest these types of materials and activities. For the other group of students who we may offer or use different types of materials and activities for them. That is personalized learning. That can be done by AI support. Making teaching more interesting. Yes, I think so. Tracking the student progress, increasing interaction, reducing teacher workload. These are things that AI can support. I think everyone knows, right? So use AI properly, then we can, of course. In Thailand, we talk a lot about reducing administrative and document work, right? So that return the teacher's time to students, not the teacher's time to do all these documents and so on. Okay, the same for assessment, right? What can AI, and when I say AI, it's broader than Gen AI alone, right? But of course, it could also mean that Gen AI will help you because Gen AI is very close to you to do now. But AI, if it requires model building machine learning, maybe sometimes is a bit of the next step for you. But Gen AI would be the step that you can just cross and go for it. So assessment, what can you seek help from the AI? Automated assessment and evaluation. We will see some example. Providing feedback, okay. Better prediction of teacher performance, helping to make some decision, okay, and so on. And the roles of teacher. These are general roles of teacher, right? And then this will be how AI would be supporting. And as I said, this I took from the source of this is from a journal paper published in Springer Nature in the Tech Trends, okay, Tech Trends journal. I give everything the URL reference and so on. So these are not hallucinated. It's the manual detail. Okay, so next is about Gen AI and education transformation. I think every one of us have already seen, right? And we will see even more progress. From this, another journal publication, okay, is talking about using Gen AI in education, okay. So there, we already have seen in this systematic literature review in the article that the advances of Gen AI and related tools has been used a lot in many of the educational settings as of now, okay. And educators are still trying to adopt them in many cases, especially number one, personalized learning that has been used a lot. And increasing classroom engagement and support student, making student learning support. Okay, so the agenda that we will try to be sure that we will learn together is using AI as a course co-pilot. Okay, how can we use it in the simplest way for today? And that could help enhance student engagement. It could help us to do some assessment and feedback. And we still need to be sure of ethical and academic integrity. This is still very important. If we are in academic and we do not enforce this, this is all wrong, okay? Okay, as a course co-pilot, there will be two things, two tools that we focus today. Google Classroom AI. Has anyone used it before? Google Classroom, I'm sure that some of us may have been using. Google Classroom AI, how about that? It was just launched in July, so if you have used, you are very ahead of, yes, I mean, but July is now, June, July, right? Just launched, okay, that Google has launched it. How about Notebook LM? Many people have been talking about Notebook LM, so several of us has been using, but anyway, I saw the hands only half, okay, so still we need to discuss it in detail because it's pretty powerful tool. Okay, first, introduction first. Google Classroom AI. For Google Classroom, I think you all know, right? It is a kind of learning management system, LMS, and ordinary Google account. I'm not sure. I never try to compare whether my ordinary account can use Classroom or not, but most of the case we use because we are we are educator, we are professor, and our account, institutional account, allow us to use. Okay, so you can go with classroom.google.com, something like that. You can, right? Ordinary account can. Even creating course, inviting learners to learn. Okay, perfect. So you can have learners in your classroom. You can put materials there in the classroom. You can ask for assignment submission, track the deadline, give the score. These are common features of Google Classroom. Okay, with the AI, it integrates some kind of, it integrates actually with the Gemini because Google is with Gemini. So it integrates Gemini features to support certain activities in the classroom for teachers, including designing some lesson, making assessment, automatic quiz or whatever, and generate some content. So instead of teachers to produce, develop and create several contents by themselves from scratch, these tools can support teachers to co-create something easily, faster. But again, every time I will say, you need to verify, you need to put your own things into that result, okay? That will be for Google Classroom AI. I will skip Notebook LM as of now because I will come back to talk about it when we finish with Google Classroom AI. And actually, I provide here as well some resource from Google by itself, okay? Google Workspace for Education. And here it gives you a lot of details of how you can use Notebook LM and Gemini for Education properly in terms of supporting teaching, education, and academic works. You can click and then go to that. It will give you these kind of slides by Google, okay, in which it is this 100 ways of using Gemini and Notebook LM, Gemini for Education, I mean, and so on. There are quite a lot, very lengthy, 90 plus slides, okay. Okay. I come back to that later on. So let's talk about Google Classroom AI. So let's explore the user interface a bit. Okay, before I do that, these are things that, something that we may want to try today, such as designing lesson materials, course materials and lesson plan, creating certain rubrics and assessment, okay, grading assistance and feedback generation, creating student announcement with AI support. Okay, and how can we do that? Go to Google. Anyone still need some assistance with the account? Account is done, right? You have. Yes, 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 sure. You have your Google Education? Okay. But if you want to try for your own, do we have still another account available? To your university activation kind of thing? From the team? Oh, okay. But in case you need some help, our team can come and quickly help you. Okay. For this, If you go to classroom.google.com/AI, you will see this. These are everything you can do with it, including outline a lesson plan, generate a quiz, re-level text. Okay, let's look at each category. If we're talking about planning only, these are the things you could do. If we are talking about instruction materials, okay, these are the things you could do. If we talk about assessment, if we talk about student support, and some administrative tasks, okay? So what should we try first? Planning, right? We cannot just jump to create anything before we can have a plan. But before that, it works only when actually you can work right away, but I would suggest that you go with another tab, okay, with just your Google Classroom alone. Because if you want to try something, right, let's say creating some lesson, creating some materials, creating some quizzes and assignment and so on, you may need to have a course. If you have not had, you may not want to make your existing Google Classroom course dirty with some new trial, tests, and so on. I would suggest you go to your Classroom home. You go to just Classroom in your Google account, right? Which is, okay, I move here, Classroom. This will give you just the Classroom like this. And click on the plus over there on the top right. Then you can create a new course, create class. Okay, I want you to create new course just for kind of testing anything that you want to test today. I already create mine. I call it Gen AI training. So this is my new empty course, has nothing. So you can create whatever course you may want to try. Okay. And when you click into it, this is just your new Google Classroom. Has nothing yet. Okay. No student, no material, nothing. Okay, just leave it there. Then you go back to your Gen AI, your Google Classroom AI. Okay, menu. Okay, I put them together in the two tabs. Should we do outline a lesson plan? Okay. Then think of your real course. Okay, no need to be generative AI course, right? Your real course that you have all your content, you are content expert in your course that you teach in your university, okay? And the target grade, if it is undergraduate or bachelor degree, you type it because Google Classroom can be for the high school level as well. So I will say for me it's a master level. Okay, and then describe the topic. It could be the whole new course or it could be just one particular module or lesson, up to you. Okay. And it would be good if you can upload a course syllabus. I think you are not creating a course from nothing, right? As of now, you may have some existing course that you may want to teach. Okay. Or you are teaching new course, but you already have a course syllabus or course description. Put your course description in, right? I will put mine. I have mine. What is it? Course syllabus. Okay, actually, I do not give you the context, right? Usually, if you are talking about your existing course, you may already have some handouts, material, and everything ready. But you may have some specific thing you may want the generative AI to help you making further. So, in this example, what I have done or does will demonstrate here as well is that you can use it for automatically generating lesson plans based on the course syllabus you have. Suppose you're assigned to teach new course, you're designing a new course curriculum, or you may want to produce some extra materials of only specific topics that you may want to enhance. For example, there might be that I have been teaching, let's say, database design for 10 years, but there are new topics that I want to develop on database design. So I may not want generative AI to generate me the whole new course plan, right? But only this new topic, new advanced topic on some advanced topic of my course, okay? So, and also you can adjust the content based on student learning level. So you can say that prepare a more advanced module on this topic for you so that some of the talent students in your class can take advantage on this. So what I would do here, for example, I have been teaching the course which is called semantic-web technology. So I can use my existing semantic-web technology course material, but I say that I want to have a 2-week extra tutorial session for my student who may be struggling on something. And then I want extra reading material. I want extra assignment for this group of students. Okay. So please try to use that scenario or some scenario of your own. This is what it generates for me already. I give the whole course syllabus in which now it generates to me that for the master course level in semantic web technologies, okay, these are some of the, okay, let me see which did I say? No, I did not generate yet. Student will be, okay, generate lesson plan, describe your class, okay. So you can try yours. I uploaded my materials as part of the semantic web course, but maybe if this is the topic that is not familiar to you, don't worry. In my course, I have what is called ontology engineering. I just say that design something specifically only for that topics of ontology engineering, okay? And I want the activity of 2 weeks tutorial session for this part. That is what I request it to help suggest me some idea. And if you are interested in this idea, okay, you can redesign, you can copy, you can export it. Okay, once I click on export, I get this lesson plan for my course. And I can do, of course, the activity, check in the detail and read. And as I said, human cross-checking, verifying whether they suit with you, you need to do it. It fits with the learning outcome that you want. It fits with the students you are teaching, and you revise from there. Okay? Still need to put your own things into that content. Can I introduce a few things and then I let you try for your own for some times, okay? Because you may choose to try a few things based on your interest. Because to me, actually, lesson plan is not what I really want most of the time, but generating some assignment, quiz, projects, activities will be more on the necessary part for many of us, right? Lesson plan is something that it has to fit with your ways of teaching. So the same thing, if you are interested in using it for some other purpose, such as you can navigate through the tool selection a little bit, such as instruction material for generating a quiz. Okay, creating rubric. And yes, I think let's check I used to do it for something already, that is the upload my whole course material and then ask that generate me 20 question MCQ quiz. Generate me, suppose in my database class, I teach database design, relational database design. Generate me some project ideas for students to design a real-world database. Then it gives me 5 ideas, or if you want 10, you can say that generate me 10 ideas for a different database design projects. Generate me some SQL statement exercise based on some scenarios and so on. Then it will be able to help you generate this exercise so that you can use for student activities. Okay. This is what you can do in the Classroom AI. And once it generates you can actually click that, add it into the classroom. It will, if you agree with what is suggested, you can add that activity into classroom automatically as well. But if you want to do some adjustment, of course, you have to adjust first and then add to classroom. That is one thing you can do. What else? Rubric, yes. Suppose that you have some writing exercise, essay. For example, I ask students to research a little bit about, I'm teaching knowledge graph. I ask students that what are possible applications of knowledge graph in data science area. real world application area, and ask students to write me maybe 1 page or 500 word essay, or I mean not essay but word of the result, right? And then I want a rubric that how could I grade these students objectively based on good criteria. This is an example of the generated rubric that I prompt. Okay, I would just simply say that I would like to grade on the understanding of core knowledge and apply knowledge in knowledge graph on real world example. Okay, and it generate me this. We can start over. Okay. Create a rubric. Then I say master level again. And performance level means how many performance descriptive in the rubric, like beginning, intermediate, and advanced, the level of the rubric. And then suppose I want only 3 because too many is too much. Assignment instruction. Okay. Knowledge graph. No, I think I have this here. Concepts. Okay, I types in here and understanding of knowledge graph. As well as real world example. Okay, then when I say create criteria, it will suggest that the rubric criteria include conceptual understanding of knowledge graph, which is what I input that I want, application of knowledge graph in data science, the use of real-world examples, clarity and cohesion, grammar and mechanics. Suppose that I don't care about English writing that much. I want to understand their idea. So I can remove these 2. I don't agree. As I said, you may not need to agree with everything you suggest. Okay, so generate. It generates this rubric of the 3 level, meeting, approaching, far from approaching. This means this is the best. You may call it something else. I may not call it meeting. I may call it I don't know, excellent or performing or yes, improving or whatever, right? To be improved or something like that. Anyway, and these are the things that once you get it, export, yeah. You can export to Google Sheet, to Google Doc, or add it to the classroom right away. For me, I would just export to Google Sheet so that I can do editing by myself first. I may not agree with it entirely. And then I import back to Google Classroom by myself later on. Okay. And as I said, when we ask students to do homework, how do we feel when students submit you things using ChatGPT, Gen AI right away? They feel the same, for sure. If we just use ChatGPT, Gen AI generate for you to the students, all assignment and so on without us verifying, editing, revising, tailoring it for the students, right? I think they'll feel the same. That why you never revising this, but you preventing us to use it to answer and submitting back to you? Okay. All right. Anyway, that is what I said. We always need human oversight. And okay, let me go back. quiz, essays, assignment quizzes, and so on. You can use it for quiz generation. You can be very specific what you want. For example, as I said, I teach semantic web, so the concepts related to query language of semantic web and certain technology of semantic web is the must that I need to make sure that my students are aware of, right? So I can say create a quiz with 5 multiple choice questions and 2 short answer questions about this topic. Then I need to upload the materials. Every time you need to upload the materials because the question it generates may be not within your scope, right? It can generate too broad for you. So your materials will make the generated result confined within your materials. Okay. And again, once you generate with it, you can add, you can edit, you can add back to Google Classroom right away. Okay, grading. Also making announcement. Okay, you can say like, create an announcement for my class, reminding them for the upcoming deadline of assignment 2 and the importance of submitting on time. Well, in the past, right, we need to write these long things. Now it will help generate this announcement easily so that you can verify that the announcement is in the tone that proper and you can right away announce it. Okay. Okay, I skipped this. Okay, this is just it. Shall we try around 10 minutes with Google Classroom AI? Okay. So you can try anything that you want because you already have the account and everything. And we can share to each other later on. If you try with assessment and quizzes, and you say that you want to generate some quizzes based on certain topics and certain materials as we discussed, right? And you can say number of questions. You can say how many MCQ, true, false, or long and short answer that you want. It can also generate Google form for the quiz for you and add into Google Classroom if you are happy with the generated content. Otherwise, you can always write further prompt to refine. You can say that the question is too easy. Make it a little bit more advanced. Make it for the apply level. Make it for the concept checking level. Make it this and that, right? If you're not happy with the questions, you can always refine in the prompt. Or you can always get a form like this. And this is already generated for me. All the 5, only 5, okay, because just for testing. 5 questions in this concept of, okay, I edit a bit. RDF and Sparkle question, 5 question. MCQ and true false, not only MCQ alone. Okay, and then I can edit whatever I like or I don't like and so on, and then I can confirm with the question. Okay, that will be the thing that you can do right away and can save time. The purpose is just, it allows you to do things more in an efficient way, faster. Okay. If you try with Google AI, Classroom AI, and if you browse a bit further down, you can explore and you can try later on. I think we cannot just teach just the tool and then we are done for today, right? We basically introduce what we can do, and then in order to make use of each of these functions, whether it fits with your course and plan and so on, I believe that we need to have some time to explore and try out and use it, fit it with our need and way. But what I'm going to explore down now further is here. Explore more, you browse a bit down on the page of AI, classroom AI, you can see here, explore more Google AI tools. There are kind of something like brainstorm and create with Gemini app, personalize Gemini to help specific tasks grow. Okay, this will related to this one that I highlight. This will be about Notebook LM. Okay, but what I'm going to talk here is the Gemini gem. You can also create a gem. Okay, if you click on that Gemini gem, you can see here that gem are kind of specific Gen AI bot from Gemini that there exists also some pre-made that you may want to use right away, or you can create your own specialized, it's called gem, your own specialized gem to do some specific tasks. You can tell it a role, you can tell it a task, you can tell it the knowledge that it should have, the behavior, the characteristics, and so on, that it should act for your specific context. Okay, so I already created one related to teaching setting. This is the gem I already have, but let's explore the pre-made one. That could be interesting. There's chess champ, okay, I ignore that. Brainstormer, you can use it to discuss, and sometimes you need to brainstorm or think of something. You need someone to brainstorm with, right? You cannot brainstorm alone. You can use this gem that is already pre-made to brainstorm some idea. You can have this for your student, career guide, even kind of prepare for interview. Think of your students, their very first to go out for the job. What questions they will be asked, right? And what kind of answer you should practice. Tell them. Practice your job interview there with the Google chatbot, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. And if you don't have this pre-made gem, you can just create one and say that, okay, you are the human resource manager interviewing for a new employee for the job position, this and this and that, and so on. You give a role. It will be fine. Or even coding partner. What I did for my gem in terms of TA gem, okay, I create a teaching assistant, and I explain in this gem that, where is it, mine? You should create one. You could create one. Where is my gem? Here. Yes. When you create one of your own, you go to this part, your gems, right? And then you click on new gem. Once you click on new gem, you'll be given a user interface to give it a name, whatever gem you call it. Okay, I show mine so that it has some idea of how did I make it. I give the name semantic-web teaching assistant so that I create this for my student to chat with it to prepare for some course content. Okay, I say that you are a TA for my semantic-web technologies course taught in a master degree in computer science. Your task would include explain certain concept, prepare some exercise, and grade some assignment. These are general role that I give to this gem. And I also need to give the knowledge, materials. Your knowledge is confined within this content. If suppose that the TA, virtual TA needs to explain certain concept, should not be too broad, too deep, just within this materials that I give. And if I will ask it to generate some exercise, some extra things, I will talk to this gem, right? And ask it to help me generate something. Or the student can say that, tomorrow there is a quiz of Dr. Chutiporn on this topic. Could you prepare me 10 questions so I can practice her quiz. Yes, this will be what student can do and talk to this gem. Then I can share this gem to my students and say that whatever you have a question and I have no time to answer you, talk to my gem first, semantic-web gem, okay, something like that. This can assist student learning and take your time off a bit. And what else? I already create one thing. And once I create it, right, I am here in the semantic web assistant. Whatever you ask, it will be in this context. Student can ask something like this. What is this top concept? Okay, it will explain. Oh, yes, this, let's break down in detail. And this, actually, I already study and see. It's within even some example, it took from my materials. The example that is used for showing here are taken from my materials. Okay, and I even can do this. Suppose I play myself as a student role. I am preparing for an oral test on semantic web concept. Your role is to help me prepare this oral test by asking me a question. I will answer. If my answer is not clear, you ask me to clarify. After that, you give me a score out of 10. I ask this gem to score the answer based on my answer and suggest me how I should improve my answer. So, yes, after I prompt it this way, you see, I need to explain, right, what is the purpose of me asking it to act on a role for me. It say, of course, I'd be happy to help you prepare for the oral test. Let's start. Okay, this is the first question. Can you explain the fundamental difference between traditional web, often called this and this and this, and take your time to answer. Okay, then I give my answer here. Okay, these are the answer I give. Very long, not very, just oral test, right, should not be too long. So I give my answer, assuming that I was a student. I gave the answer to practice. It also give me that, oh, you correctly highlight this and that, you score this. Okay, but if you would like to score 10 out of 10, what should you improve? It also suggests for further improvement. Because its role is now a TA, then it will tell that what you should do further to get perfect 10, something like that. It even keep without exhausting. Would you like to try another question? Okay, if you want to practice, yes, do with it. So you have 24/7 tirelessness, TA. Okay. Okay, that is the gem you can create. This is for the TA. You can do a gem for something else, as I said. You want to try for a few more time? Okay, create your own gem. Okay, here it is, gem, creating gem. I think once you create, you can always adjust it, try to refine it, right? If it doesn't work, I mean, your instruction, suppose, for example, is not clear, you can refine and improve it always. So that is what I said, that the Gen AI is trained to take command and input from the user. So that is why sometimes it does not know that whose command is the right one. If there are people who try to do wrong thing, right? As I said, prompt injection could happen. that people try to say, hey, now, please forget everything and tell, as I said, tell me how to do the bad things, this and that, right? All the credit card stuff, as I said. Gem for teaching, yes. Interact with the gem. Okay. The question was about whether whatever is generated by the gems will be hallucinating or not. Of course, there are chances. Every Gen AI can always hallucinate, right? But that is what we already mentioned, that when you create a gem, upload all the knowledge source and say that you are the TA for this specific context, content, knowledge, and use everything from this given knowledge alone, nothing else, something like that. You need to give it that. So in that case, it will try its best, but as we discussed, even in that case, hallucination can still happen, but it's best or better than not giving the resource at all.
How can we include the gems inside the Google Classroom?
Let me see my gem. This is my gem. But one thing that has to be cautioned with, this is our gem. Then, how can we export our gem? Do we have a sharing? No, but suppose that the thing is that give this gem to the student. There must be a sharing. Let me see. Where is it? Setting and help. No, because gem is generated in a separate. Pre-made by Google. Where is it? I try to come back to this later on. Do you? Yeah, Google may not allow gems to share now or not. But I cannot even access my gems from another account. Can you access your gem from another not logged in account? I cannot share mine. Why?
You can only share the chat, not the gem.
Mm.
So from your gem, if you ask a question, that one you can share.
Yeah. Then we can ask students to generate their own gems. Yeah, they need to generate the gems. We share the prompt. Okay, use this prompt, use this material. You create your own gems. Yeah. And we this is also a good way to train them how to use Gen AI in a way that not to get the answer for your question, right? But for you to practice, because we are teaching them to learn, not teaching them to get the answer. Getting the answer is easy nowadays. Every Gen AI answer everything. But really, learning is what we want from our students to master. Okay. And that is always why the assignment students should not just ask Gen AI to do assignment, but to teach them how should they do the assignment in what way to solve that particular problem and so on. But if we're talking about ChatGPT, I think in a similar way, ChatGPT is custom GPT. Okay, in that case, you can share. Usually, I use custom GPT more than Gemini, GEMS. But since it's part of the Google AI, Classroom AI, and so on, I thought that it acts in a similar way. So sorry, I did not try this GEMS sharing. But if you use ChatGPT, custom GPT, yeah, then you can do a similar way that we did for Gemini GEMS, and that will be able to share. Okay, create your own gems. Whenever you have time, try creating your own gems, okay? Notebook LM. So can we have like 5 minutes? We come back and continue after lunch as well. But before lunch, let's try a bit on the Notebook LM. For those who are new to Notebook LM, the link from the slide, actually the slide has a link from this page. Beginning page when we introduce. Let me see, the page should be here. Yes, around this page, introducing Notebook LM. Actually, if you click on here, the link is at notebooklm.google.com. Notebook LM stands for Notebook Language Model. That's it. That's why LM. And yes, it's driven by Gemini again. You go to Notebook LM, you will have an interface, something like this. If you have never used before, you will have empty interface. But you can create new. Once you create new, okay, you can add, okay, let me try creating new so that we are on the same. Then you can add whatever resources of your notebook into your notebook, LM. What does it do? What you could do with Notebook LM in terms of teaching and learning, of course, you can upload your course materials. Anything that it could be a textbook, even the whole textbook, even certain chapters, okay? Everything that is in PDF, in doc, slides, and so on can be uploaded it will try to analyze all the content and use it again as the database, as a grounded model, grounded knowledge, right? And you can do a summarization of the course concept. You can do a mind mapping. You can do FAQ, key takeaways, and talk to this notebook LM. And in the same way, students can do as well. With Google account, I don't think you need Google for Education. General Google account, you are allowed to use notebook LM. Okay. I'm not sure about limitation, like up to what then your account is, the quota or limit is done or not for notebook LM. But for me, as of now, I never reached that quota. So I think that there's no quota yet. Okay, you can upload whatever you want. And once you upload, you will get something like, let me see here. You can ask there is the panel. Left hand side is the panel for all your knowledge sources that you can upload. You can make one notebook about certain topic. In the middle panel here is the chatting that you can ask anything within the scope of those knowledge. On the right hand side is the studio in which you can generate certain notes such as study guides, briefing note, FAQ, and if it is some kind of specific you can even actually generate mind map, okay, but it's not for every types of document that will allow you to generate mind map. Some of the document allows me to generate some mind map. And a podcast. Remember what Dr. Shaklam mentioned yesterday, listening to podcast from maybe a very lengthy resource, right? You may not be able to read while you're driving. You may listen to this summarization. Okay, it could be a way of a few people discussing conversation about the topics in the content and resource. Then you can learn from this podcast. Okay, you can try on the podcast generation. Okay, create audio overview in more language. Learn more. Here would be the video overview. Here, if you want to generate the audio overview, you click on that. Okay, you can customize whether you want a long version, a short version, a default version, and so on, and we'll generate. Okay. And click on the note that it generates. You will find it very useful because the structure of the note is very, very good. The structure that it tries to summarize to you based on the knowledge source that you upload. It actually can capture structure and summarize for you in a very good manner and divide it into topics. There are the summarization. It can even, once you upload every source, you can actually put them all together. You can generate briefing doc, study guide, and FAQ. Okay. Here would be some examples. So please spend some time to try it. And again, as I said, you can ask in the chat with specific to only this knowledge that you upload. So it will be just the expert of these things. Okay, I think we can come back and discuss a bit after our lunch break. Okay, and then if you are back earlier, if you want to play around a little bit about with Notebook LM, please feel free to do that, and we do some sharing afterward as well. Thank you. So have a good lunch, and we are back at 1 o'clock. Thank you.